So this is a video about your Webcore vitals, how we see them here at OpDee, and how we understand them. I'm going to explain it in a way so that you can apply it to your business, and hopefully the people who send you wonderful Semrush reports or reports that they generate about your website saying, oh, it's so slow, you need to get a hold of us. Maybe it's not. Maybe there's nothing really to worry about. Maybe you just need to wait. So what I'm going to do here is this information, and this is free information, and you should have these tools for your site. If you go to Google Search Console, so we recently moved ourselves over to opdee.com. And if I go into a core web vitals here, you're going to see not enough usage data in the last 90 days for this device type. Same there at desktop, not enough usage data for the last 90 days. This is because Google takes a standpoint, which is saying we're only going to use field data. And it's field data that's over a long time, like how many sessions, how many days. Field data is very important to understand when it comes to these web core vitals. So if I go to some place like Pingdom, people love using Pingdom, like I said, Semrush has this. Pretty much any type of tool that is analyzing SEO is going to have some type of tool that's analyzing your website performance. So if I come to here, just looking at a customer's website, what this will do is this will create a lab environment. And what I mean by lab environment is it tries to simulate what a potential session would look like, one-off session. It's very important that you have a good location to test from, but overall, it just gives you like, these are some things you should fix. As long as you don't have anything majorly, glaringly obvious on here, just take it with a grain of salt. Yep, okay, it's good information to know. Okay, so we need to reduce the page size. Load time, actually really good, but performance great, gives us C, and it just gives us a random stat. But this is not a be-all, end-all. This is not how we see it as. If you go to some place like GTmetrix, like, look at our customer score here, and we get a really high rating, really high grade. And I'm going to just preface this here. There is a lot of caching tools out there, and especially plugins, NitroPack, that are pretty good at gaming these scores or appear to game these scores, and they can make it look like your website is screamingly fast. In reality, they really haven't fixed underlying issues with the site. Now, I'm not saying NitroPack is good or bad, but I'm just saying there are some tools that can game this or appear to game these numbers. So that's why I said you got to take these with a grain of salt, especially if you get a random person who's messaging you saying, hey, your website needs some work, and whoever's watching your tech stack is not taking care of it because you got these horrible scores. That's not how this works. They're just lab results. And they try to simulate what it is. As long as you have anything that's like glaringly obvious, you can ignore it. Now, here's where the field data comes into it. So Google, it takes thousands of sessions, not like 10 users, not 100 users. It's thousands of users hitting your site over a long period of time. And then it starts averaging off your core web vitals, saying, okay, well, your largest contextual paint, and that just means how long it takes for your page to start showing something, is X amount. Contextual layout shift, they call it CLS. It's just when your website loads, it starts populating, and as it builds, the page starts moving down. And Google has found out that websites you go to, and we've all experienced these before, where like you're on a news website, and you're scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and then next thing it keeps jumping up, and that's because ads are scrolling behind you, and that's causing these layout shifts. And Google found out people don't like those. It's a bad search experience. So Google averages and says, okay, what are all these things over the long haul? These tools are trying to help you before you get to that point, because core web vitals are such an amazing point of I can't even talk. It's amazing, a major part of your organic ranking, and something this is really valuable and important to have in place. So how do we bridge this gap between these lab tests that are being done by GTmetrix and Pingdom and Semrush to the field data that Google Search Console is relaying to you? And that's 90 days. That's a long time to be in the dark. So what we use is we use a free tool called Microsoft Clarity, and there's a lot of ways you can splice this data up. But when you put Microsoft Clarity in, it will increase the time your website loads, but it's after the fact. So it actually does not hurt your site. And some people like to say because your site takes an extra second to load, that's going to cause you problems. No, it all comes down to the very first bite of interactivity, when a person can start using the site and clicking around. Anyways, and you'll find on these sites that we have this installed, there are A's across the board. Not a problem if you're using like these GTmetrix tools. So, but what I'm just going to say is on this clarity tool here, you can take, okay, what is our user data in the last 30 days? And then if you scroll down this page here, you will have your performance overview. And this will give you what is your average over 30 days for your largest contextual paint, your first input delay, your CLS, what's going on. You can come into here and you can segment it by different device types, by different areas in the world that a person's coming in. You can go and splice it up by different browser types and say, okay, what is this based upon what devices that we need to be targeting for that could be killing our Webcore? You can also then go into, okay, let's get some immediate data. Let's go on the last 7 days. The last 7 days, we're at 93 out of 100, and we've had some issues with the LCP. We can get that fixed. Go down the last 3 days. Okay, LCP, we're not 97. We've got this go to 2.7. So we're starting to get that field data, and we can make changes. You can also keep track of any error message coming up. But we go to today and see what's going on. And now this is a small number, so you got to be careful because you will get some laws of small numbers here and there. But you'll see we're down to about 2 seconds on the LCP, 99 out of 100. And you just keep making these little changes and adjustments at real time. But even still, it's really funny. Like, we will go and we'll work on these websites, and this may be like 99 out of 100, but averages over another like week or 2 weeks, it may go up, and there may be some small things that need to be adjusted, especially when it's a website as dynamic as this, where we're rolling out different landing pages and updates. But this is overall the website. I mean, when you're running these tools like GTmetrix and Pingdom, it's typically just for one page and you just want to see what it is. This will give you information across the entirety of your website. You can focus on to one page if you want to, or you can focus on a group of pages, or you can focus on a group of users that are coming in from a specific area. There's wonderful ways of slicing up your data, but at the end of the day, just take those reports with a grain of salt. Don't sit there thinking that your tech stack people are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Look at it over the average. Run these clarity tracking tools. Get a feel for what your website's really doing over the long haul, and then make adjustments. So this is understanding how these work from our standpoint at OpDee. I hope this helps you. And if you got any questions, happy to respond to them. Just leave a comment, shoot me a message. Have a good day.